Hello everybody and welcome back to Red Eagle Politics. Make sure you guys like this video down below and subscribe to the channel if you are new. So we had an election night last night and it didn't go so well for Republicans, and that was kind of to be expected because of where these races were. We knew the Republicans would probably fall short in New Jersey. They fell short by a much greater distance than I think a lot of people even on the left expected. Same thing went with Virginia. We said the only race that Republicans would win was Virginia's attorney general, and they lost every race in Virginia, including that race, by a surprising margin, which is kind of disturbing for reasons that we've talked about. But we want to go over the results in this video. I want to showcase why they happen this way. What can the Republicans do to recover? Is 2026 going to be grim? Is it going to be a blue wave still? Or technically, what I said before the election, would that come true, which is nothing that could have taken place last night would have impacted my prediction for the midterms? Well, there's a little bit of a nuance here because I didn't think some of these results would be feasible, but I think that a lot can change in the next year, and I will explain why it's likely that it does. But we'll break down the results. We'll go over the autopsy report. We're going to do a good, bad, and an ugly segment for each. That was the original plan for the recap video before the elections, and now it's like there was no good. This is just the ugly, and the ugly, or maybe the ugly, the uglier, and the ugliest. And I think we know what the ugliest is, which is Virginia's attorney general's race, because Jay Jones, not only did he win, he outperformed Kamala against Trump. It's insane. Against an incumbent, relatively solid attorney general. Absolutely astounding. We'll break it down, but first, got to tell you guys about our good friends over at Chalk. Men's testosterone levels decline 1% a year on average after the age of 30. Even worse, their levels on average are half of what they were 50 years ago. Testosterone is more than just your manhood. It's critical for mental clarity, mood, sleep, and overall vitality. And the Patriots at Chalk.com, CHOQ.com, have formulated a blend of natural herbal supplements that support your body's natural testosterone production. Just one ingredient in their male vitality stack has boosted free testosterone levels by more than 50% in just 21 days. And right now, you can get 25% off your Chalk subscription for life. Just go to Chalk.com, that's CHOQ.com, and use the promo code REDEAGLE. That's 25% off any subscription for life, and you could cancel at any time. Chalk is made in America, and their all-American customer service team is standing by to assist you. That's Chalk.com, CHOQ.com, promo code REDEAGLE, or you can call or text them at 50-CHALK-3000. All right, guys, back to the video. So Virginia, we'll start off with Virginia, then we'll go from there. But there was not really a good result for Republicans anywhere. And while I expected Spanberger to win, I thought it would be like by 9 points. I did not think that it was going to be by 15. But that's exactly what it was. Winsome Sears didn't really run the best campaign. We understand that. She got outspent and she got shellacked everywhere. Surprisingly did not overperform or underperform Donald Trump in every single county. There were a couple counties where she did actually overperform, believe it or not. But the main takeaway is that the Nova region, especially the working class parts where you have a lot of like government employees, they did not really hold back in terms of turnout because you have the shutdown going on. And that definitely emboldened Democrats. They don't like the fact that Trump has taken the sledgehammer to D.C., and as a result, they're turning out in favor of the Democrats, even though Trump didn't really have much to do directly with this particular race. This is for a state governorship. The Democrats are angry, just like the Republicans in 2021 were angry, and that's why Youngkin won. And this is why Spanberger won, but not only didn't win, but she won by close to 15 points. But that's not really the most egregious thing in Virginia. The most egregious thing is you have a lunatic who not only is a corrupt scumbag who committed fraud regarding his community service for his DUI in Jay Jones, has wanted allegedly for police officers to die so far left policy can be enacted. He denies that claim, but it's probably in line with a lot of the other things he said. And surprisingly, that's not the worst of it. He sent all these violent text messages fantasizing about the death of his colleague and political opponents, 2-year-old and 5-year-old children, calling them little fascists. This is disgusting, and this gets unearthed right after the Charlie Kirk assassination. He doesn't apologize for it. The Democrats, they stick together. They don't throw him under the bus. Republicans have to throw everybody under the bus like Mark Robinson, or they're complicit. But Democrats, no, it doesn't matter. They get to put their bloodthirsty lunatic in charge of a Justice Department when he should be in a mental asylum. And it's not like he's facing a Republican that's got similar scandals. He's facing a Republican that is a rock-solid attorney general, is relatively inoffensive, tough on crime, you name it. And he wins by a wider margin than Kamala Harris won the state by, a wider margin than Hillary Clinton won the state by. He won by 6 points, and Democrats were enthused partially because of the scandal, according to certain pre-election polls, that they found more Democrats were more likely to vote. And then you look at some of these exit polls, and it's like, I don't know if these people are stupid, they don't know the lore, or they're just voting Democrat down ballot because they see the top of the ticket. But the so-called moderates that are voting for this guy, apparently the moderate vote went for him, according to the exit polls, by 24 points. You're not a effing moderate. You're a crazy person, okay? One thing to split your ticket over like policy disagreements or frustration with the economy, but there's no excuse to vote for this guy. He should have underperformed by over 30 points. And if he was a Republican, he would have gotten absolutely shellacked and probably made reverse coattails real. Like, you look at the split between Trump and Mark Robinson, it was like 17, 18 points in North Carolina, and he was just like trolling online, wasn't saying anything violent. This guy's fantasizing graphically about the death of children, that he opposes the politics of the parents, and he's out there winning and overperforming the presidential margins. Absolutely ridiculous. And yeah, Sears ran a piss poor campaign, and it likely did play a role. If it was like a snap special election for this particular office, I don't know if Jay Jones would have won, but the fact that he did, and so many people knew about the scandal, and it didn't exactly matter. Like, the exit poll showed like 90 or close to 90% of people knew about it, and they still voted for this guy. They literally want you and your family dead. And I'm not exaggerating. The people that did that, or it doesn't matter to them. That's a problem. Republicans, they will push you aside for like 10% of what Jones said. But if you're Jay Jones, no, you're going to go out there and just run up the score and outperform the Democrat, which is ridiculous. So New York City elected Zoran Mamdani, which again was expected, actually won by less than I thought he'd win by. But the main takeaway is New York is done for. Never forget they forgot. Zoran is out there parading around with the Son Piker who says America deserved 9/11. Now he's the mayor of New York City. Astounding to me. I know he underperformed. He wasn't the strongest candidate, you name it. But still, he possibly could have a long-term impact in the city and on voters and where people leave New York to go. That's beneficial for Republicans, but, prayers up for New York City. And it's not like people are going to go to New Jersey, so maybe they're going to go to Pennsylvania, which helps Pennsylvania, but New Jersey really dropped the ball. Looked like the data was pointing towards a close race. We expected Jack to do much better with independents than he did. And here's the problem. Jack actually got enough votes to win in 2021. He really did. But Mikey Sherrill got like 500,000 more votes than Phil Murphy got in 2021. And that's when you had more mail-in ballots then than you have now. So you had Election Day turnout that was spiked for the Democrats, especially. I think a lot of it was the shutdown anger. Republicans did very well in Ocean County. I think Jack, he barely underran Trump, but he did, I believe, by a hair overperform his 2021 margin there. He won by almost 100,000 raw votes, which was huge. But still, in certain places, a lot of Trump voting Hispanics did not show up. Again, you have a problem with turnout lag, and on top of it, Democrats were just very, very enthused and angry, and that's why you got the result that you got there. So You look at Prop 50 in California, that passed overwhelmingly by a wider margin than I anticipated. But it just shows Republicans, you need to fight back, learn how to draw maps properly, because they will actually beat you at this game. It's crazy to see what happened last night. And it is a turnout problem, because even like the state of Maine rejected voter ID. Like, how does that even happen? It's like an 80-20 issue overall, but Maine rejected it. And it just shows this is what happens when people don't show up to vote, and when the environment is just working against you and you're supercharging turnout of a party that already is the higher propensity party. You see what's happening. So Pennsylvania is another example where the Democrat judges, they won by 14 points. And you see this happening, and it's like, a lot of people are just asleep at the wheel. The very few state parties that are competent, can get people out and voting on the Republican side, are like Texas and Florida. And in Texas, at least for these amendments, that was like the one bright spot. They passed overwhelmingly in the state, which was good, even though it wasn't like a widely publicized election. And it's like, why is this happening? Is this going to stop or reverse itself before 2026? Well, here's what I do know, and here's the bottom line. Trump's approval rating had a unique late dip. And I think a lot of it is because the shutdown, while Republicans were winning it for a while, the talk about the benefits and things like that really emboldened a lot of Democrats to turn out. And you're seeing it, and there needs to be some sort of course correction here. And I think that Trump is going to do it. He kind of said we learned a lot. That was his takeaway from last night, and that's good. It shows that there's an element of humility there. People usually don't use that word to describe Donald Trump, but even some of his critics were, because it's true. And even then, his approval in the exit polls were not that bad, not as bad as I really expected, much better than the 2017 elections in those states. So if the problem gets fixed regarding the shutdown, take some effort to work on the economy, maybe rework the tariffs, I don't know. But regardless, improve the messaging and find a way to target low propensity voters. And if Republicans do that, they're going to be in very, very good shape ahead of 2026, because the maps do not benefit the Democrats. They're going to have to win a Senate race in a state that Trump won by like 15 points in order to retake the Senate. They're not going to retake the Senate. And in terms of the House, if the VRA goes, it's still an uphill climb for Democrats on a seats basis. But, the one thing I will say is that, if you have these overperformances, yeah, they're not going to gain like 30, 40 seats like they did in 2018, but could they gain like 15 to 20 on net? It's possible if you kind of see this environment where there's a lot of anger. But, if they fix the shutdown, they get everything under control, they actually make sure that they can appear like they're doing something on the economy, then I think that it's going to actually work out in the Republicans' favor at the end of the day. But the fact that the Democrats have elected these people, and the fact that so many people voted for Jay Jones, ticket split or not, you didn't even see a double-digit ticket split. I think it was like an 8 to 9 point ticket split. That's not really good enough, but it shows that Republicans, they have work to do. And I don't think 2026 is going to be this massive blue wave because of what happened last night, but I think it is a little bit of a wake-up call that whatever is going on now with messaging, with turnout, with targeting voters, it's not working and changes need to be made. So that's the way it goes. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching this video. Like this video down below, comment down below, subscribe to the channel, hit the bell for notifications so you never miss another video. Follow me on social media. The links are all in the description down below, and I will see you guys in the next one. Red Eagle, out.